Yes, guys, what's going on? Welcome to AdamMcKola TV. This is United Daily Live, and we are back live for another United Daily where we bring you the latest Manchester United news, headlines, transfer rumours, all that good stuff. And today we are looking at a potential couple of outgoings from Manchester United. Jesse Lingard stole the headlines after a decent performance against Lynch in the last game, getting the goal which levelled up for Manchester United. He was then substituted and looked very frustrated when he was substituted, as you would when you've just scored a goal and the game's still there to be won. But Jesse Lingard sat down, and I asked, could that be Jesse Lingard's last dance at Old Trafford, his final game at the club? And today we've seen a story come out from The Guardian that Manchester United are willing to listen to offers for the player, and deem him surplus to requirements. But I might have a little bit of information from the man himself which suggests he may be staying at Manchester United. So we've got that to look at. We've also got the story of Jadon Dalot to look at as well. Jadon Dalot has been linked with a move to Everton today. I believe it was Everton anyway, if I remember correctly. But there's also been an update on why he's been missing for Manchester United as well, which is down to an injury and the fact that he hasn't trained for the last couple of weeks, or the last week to 10 days. So that's the reason Jadon Dalot hasn't been involved. I expected him to start against Lynch. He didn't start against Lask. He didn't get a game. He wasn't involved in the squad, and I was thinking surely then that means that he is off. But it doesn't look like that was the reason why he was missing out from that squad, although the rumours do continue over Jadon Dalot staying or leaving Manchester United. So we'll be looking at that. We'll be looking at the Jadon Dalot rumours. Tahith Chong's been linked with a loan move away from Manchester United, and the clubs have had a vote on whether to stick with the 5 substitutions rule for next season. And thankfully, in my opinion, they've all come out and said no, we'll revert back to the old 3 subs rule. So that is the situation right about now in regards to the latest news on Manchester United. There are a few stories on Jadon Sancho which I'm sure we'll go over at some point, but there's nothing really new in regards to Jadon Sancho. There's nothing really concrete in regards to Jadon Sancho. As far as we're aware from Fabrizio Romano over the last couple of days and week is that the terms have been agreed with the player. The clubs are now negotiating a fee. Now Dortmund are posturing via the press. United are posturing via the press. It doesn't look like the deal's off, but it doesn't look like the deal's done yet either. Now it's obvious United will get the player if they can agree a fee with Borussia Dortmund, because the player will clearly join Manchester United. That situation with his contract seemingly is out of the way. We don't need to worry about that. We just need to worry about getting the deal done with Borussia Dortmund. So that's how that one lines up. So we'll be looking at all of that right here today on United Daily Live. But make sure you're keeping it locked. You're liking, commenting, sharing, subscribing, joining the channel if you can as well. And let's have a look at this report in regards to Jesse Lingard that has come from The Guardian and Jamie Jackson, our old mate Jamie Jackson. And he says Manchester United will listen to offers for Jesse Lingard. The forward has become a fringe player since the emergence of Mason Greenwood, and with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer trying to sign Borussia Dortmund's Jadon Sancho. Although Solskjaer is an admirer of Jesse Lingard, having coached him as a youth player at United, the 27-year-old is deemed surplus to requirements. Lingard's contract ends in summer 2021, and although the club have an option to extend this for a year, Solskjaer is open to a sale should the right bid be lodged. Lingard has scored on his past 2 appearances, the 2-0 win at Leicester City and Wednesday's 2-1 victory over Lask. Solskjaer took Lingard off a few minutes after his goal against the Austrian club, despite the player having little chance of starting Monday's Europa League quarter-final against Copenhagen in Cologne. I disagree with that, but I actually think there's a good chance Jesse Lingard could start in that game. I don't think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is going to go all out with the strongest 11 in that game, and I think there's a big chance Jesse Lingard could play, as he was probably our best player against Lynch. I know Matt got 2 assists, but I thought Jesse Lingard played well in the first half. He obviously got the goal in the second half. He looked one of the liveliest players that we had. United's performance was abysmal in the first half, but Jesse did stand out a little bit amongst them. So I kind of feel like he could play in that game, but this article says there's little chance of him starting in that game. United are understood to have given Alexis Sanchez a payoff of about $7.5 million to pave the way for him to complete a free transfer to Internacional on a contract to June 2023. So that's a little bit on Alexis Sanchez. That move was confirmed by Manchester United in the last couple of hours as well. We already knew that was done though, as Fabrizio Romano gave it the here we go a day or two ago. So Jesse Lingard obviously linked with a move away from Manchester United. No firm clubs or interest or anything has come yet, but I'm sure there'd be a lot of clubs interested if Jesse Lingard was up for sale. Premier League clubs abroad, I do think there'd be a lot of interest in him. Not only is he very marketable, but I think he's also a talented player. And actually, I think he's someone that could offer something to Manchester United in a squad player role. Now, it's like Scholesy was saying the other day, it's whether he's up to doing that. Does he want to be playing week in, week out for a club that maybe he doesn't love as much as Man United? Or does he want to be a squad player at Man United and help contribute towards hopefully winning some trophies, which he has done in the past? He's had a bad 12 months, do you know what I mean? But I think ultimately he is a decent squad player. I think he offers more than Andreas Pereira. I think he offers more than Juan Mata. I think he offers more than Daniel James. And I think there's a fair few players you'd like to see go out the door before him. The problem for Jesse Lingard comes when you got Mason Greenwood coming through, who's deserving to start ahead of him, and rightly so, in a lot of games. You've got Jadon Sancho potentially coming in, who is obviously a better right winger than Jesse Lingard. And you got Bruno Fernandes, who's playing in that number 10 position. So you've got his favoured positions are filled. If you bring in someone like Jack Grealish, the squad is now a lot more competitive than it was. I still see if Juan Mata leaves, Andreas Pereira leaves, there's a chance for Jesse Lingard to be a part of that squad. And I actually asked him after the game against Last Glint, is that your last game at Old Trafford? Is that your last game? Because I personally don't want it to be his last game at Old Trafford. And he said no chance. So him, personally, wants to stay at Manchester United. You could see it in the interview after on BT Sport when he came out and he said, I'm a Manchester United player, I'm a Manchester United fan, I love playing football for this club and I want to help us win trophies. And I think he will have that feeling right now. Now, it could come to a position in 2 to 3 weeks' time. If Man United have completed the signature of Jadon Sancho, if we've completed the signature of a Jack Grealish or someone, and then you're looking around and you're thinking, all right, no offers have come in for Pereira, Mata's possibly on his way, but a bid's coming for Jesse Lingard. Jesse Lingard's probably going to think, well, if Club X is going to make me a first team player that's going to start week in, week out, I'm going to go there. And you wouldn't deny him that move. It's kind of like, you think of some great squad players that have come through over the years. And I think Jesse's been great for being a first team player at certain points in his career under Jose Mourinho and under Oli at the start when Oli first came in. But there's always a point in time where, you think of Nicky Butt. There was a point in time where he thought, all right, maybe I have to be a bit more selfish now and go out and get, first 11 football week in, week out on my own back. So maybe that's what Jesse's going to do. But depending how the transfers shape up, I'd like to see other players go before him, to be totally honest with you. And if we've got a squad of, if we've got a first 11 of Sancho, Bruno, Rashford, Marshall, and you got Pogba and Matic in there and all that, and then on the bench you've got Jesse Lingard, Jack Grealish, Igalo, whoever, Greenwood and all these. That's a great squad to have, I think. And he's a player that offers something different to those as well, in terms of his pressing, in terms of his movement. But you've got to perform for Man United, and he hasn't performed for 12 months. And as soon as you go on a downward turn, regardless of whether you're having issues off the pitch or not, your position's going to be in doubt. And he's got to fight for that at the moment. Or he might just think, I'm going to go elsewhere and go somewhere where I'm going to be more appreciated and start regularly. That's up to him. But at the moment, he wants to say, he's saying no chance that's his last game at Old Trafford, despite the rumours that United deem him surplus to requirements. So that's the latest on Jesse Lingard. Prodigy says, just found your channel. Love it, mate. Thank you very much for getting involved. If you're like Prodigy and you've just found the channel and you haven't hit that subscribe button yet, get hitting that subscribe button. We recently hit over 80,000 subscribers. We're now well on the way to 100k. So help us reach that target. We're now 19,500 odd away from that target. So get hitting that like button, comment, share, subscribe, join if you can as well. Shout out all the people talking about this in the comments. I'll see you. And of course, keep it locked. Get your comments in, get your thoughts in. Jake says, if Ake is going for 40 million, what will Smalling go for? Well, we're not going to have a club like Manchester City in for him. The price will always go up when it's someone like Manchester City in for a player. Premier League club to Premier League club. If we sold Chris Smalling to another Premier League club, I think we could get 20-25 million for him. But let's be real, Ake is a better defender than Chris Smalling, in my opinion. Ake is a better defender. Best thing for Jesse is a loan end of, says Patrick. I can't see it being a loan deal for Jesse Lingard. United won't want to pay any of his wages. And I don't think Jesse would be in a position to really want to go out there on a loan. Ross says Teden Mengi looked sharp when he came on. He should have started against Lask. I was hoping to see Teden Mengi start against Lask. It was a weird one with Harry Maguire starting, wasn't it? I didn't really get why Harry Maguire started. Obviously, he played an awful lot of games last season in the domestic league. He played every single game. I thought it was a strange one to start him, but there you go. We did start him. Diogo Dalot has been linked with a move away from Manchester United as well. Manchester United have explained his absence, saying that he was injured and he's absent from the squad against Lask on Wednesday due to injury, and that was coming from the Manchester Evening News. So he's suffered another injury setback, but he's also been linked with a move away from Manchester United as well. And Everton boss Carlo Ancelotti has apparently targeted Man United outcast Diogo Dalot. He's made just 11 appearances this season. I actually like Diogo Dalot. I think he's a decent talent. I think he's a decent player, and I can see why he would want to leave. He's a young player. He's a highly rated Portuguese fullback. He came through, massive headlines around him in his home country. Massively rated, with the world at his feet. And he's kind of stagnated at United. He's not been getting the opportunities, down to injury, maybe. But also Aaron Wan-Bissaka's fantastic. Luke Shaw's done all right at times. Brandon Williams has been doing well. It's difficult for Diogo Dalot to get in. I like him though. I wouldn't mind seeing him stay at the club, but I could understand why this one could leave, because United could raise a decent amount of funds by selling Diogo Dalot. I reckon you could get 15, 20, 25 million for him. He's still a young, fullback with quality. And he says, this article says Carlo Ancelotti is targeting Man United's Diogo Dalot to bolster his defensive options this summer. The Portuguese fullback is out of favour at Old Trafford and could be one of the players offloaded to raise funds for United's own transfer business. He's barely featured in the Solskjaer and knows he faces a battle to dislodge Aaron Wan-Bissaka from his preferred right-back role. A similar scenario would face him at Goodison Park, with the right flank currently occupied by Toffee's captain Seamus Coleman. However, with Coleman now 31, Ancelotti is looking for a long-term replacement, and ex-Porto star Dalot fits the bill. The 21-year-old was signed by United in 2018 under the Mourinho regime in a deal worth 19 million. Ancelotti believes he could nab Dalot for just over half that, at around 10 million. United would likely attempt to push the cost higher, but are desperate to boost their own transfer kitty as Solskjaer looks to clear the deadwood in his squad. I don't think Dalot falls into that category of deadwood, but he falls into that category of players that we don't currently use. Yes, they're good squad players, but they have a good resale value, and United could raise some funds to replace them with more needed players in the squad. So that's the kind of, I think Jesse kind of falls into that bracket as well, where he's going to be a squad player. He'd be a great squad player to keep, but you can probably raise a decent chunk of transfer funds with him. That's probably why he's more likely to go than Andreas Pereira, although it should probably be the other way around. I think Jesse offers a lot more than Andreas Pereira, and I think Juan Mata's not getting any younger, and I think in the style of football that we play, Jesse, a good Jesse, an informed Jesse, offers more than him as well. I want to see more of Mengi, says Matt Laugh. We all want to see more of Mengi. Hopefully we can see him get involved in the Europa League campaign, but it looks like Ollie's going to take that one very, very seriously, and try and get that one, try and win the trophy, which I don't blame him. I'd love to see Ollie win a trophy, but I'd like to see a few younger players involved as well, the Lairds and the Mengis along the way. Let's do it on this day. What is the date today? 6th of August. Right then. Today's on this day, Saturday the 6th of August 2011. Man United striker Danny Welbeck, surprisingly in some circles, leapfrogs Jermaine Defoe and Darren Bent in the England pecking order for strikers as the British national press announced England manager Fabio Capello's squad for the friendly against Holland the following Wednesday. Welbeck had spent the 2010-11 season on loan with Sunderland, scoring 6 goals in 26 Premier League appearances. However, the Wembley International would be cancelled due to 3 nights of rioting in London. What and on this day, Danny Welbeck getting picked for England, but then not playing because there were riots. Typical. If he played in that game, his whole career would have been a different story, I believe. It would have showed the world the true Danny Welbeck. What a man Danny Welbeck is. Get hitting that like button, get commenting, get sharing, get subscribing, get your thoughts in. Tahith Chong is another player linked with a move away from Manchester United, and United have apparently made him available for a transfer, and his agent was speaking to Bild, saying that he wants to take him to Germany. Werder Bremen have been linked with a move for Tahith Chong rather, and obviously Tahith Chong is apparently allowed to leave on loan. I think it's a good move for him. I don't see him starting many games, especially if you sign a Jadon Sancho. You got Jadon Sancho, Mason Greenwood, Marcus Rashford, potentially Daniel James in the pecking order ahead of him on those wing positions. I think Tahith Chong is probably better than Daniel James as well, but he hasn't showed that in the first team. This season Daniel James has been better, and I think in terms of the long-term development, Tahith Chong's more suited to going out on loan and getting regular first team football. And if Werder Bremen's a place where he can do that in the Bundesliga, in a good league where players develop well, then let's hope he can go and do that, because he's a massive talent. And I know people got frustrated with him at times in the last season when he's been given his opportunity. But you have to look at him. He's a young boy. He's come through the academy. He looked fantastic in the academy. And he's got to change. He's got to adapt to men's football. Not every young player is Mason Greenwood. Not every young player is going to take it in his stride and just play as normally as they do in the academy. And I thought he looked decent when he come on against Lash. Played at left back, which was weird, but it was bombing forward, getting forward quite well. And yeah, I think it's a good potential move for Tahith Chong to be leaving on loan and going to Werder Bremen in Germany. So I hope that one happens. Prashant with the super chat says, Adam mate, awesome, thank you very much bro. Getting super chats. Do you think Jason Sanchez will be a United player by 2050? I think Jason Sanchez will be a United player by tomorrow. Phil Lopez, I don't know why I said that, I don't actually think it. Phil Lopez says, keep up the good work. Hello to all my Man United fans from Southern California. Thank you for the super chat, Phil, and shout out to all you Californian Reds. Hope you're doing well. Thanks for getting involved. Didn't Bremen go down this year? Did they go down? Or did they finish 16th? Can't remember. Let me have a look. Did Bremen go down? They finished 16th. They won the playoffs, so I assume they stayed up for next season. I assume. Surely that we wouldn't be letting them go there if they weren't in the Bundesliga, right? And they were in Bundesliga 2. Sheffield United have had a £12 million bid rejected for Bournemouth goalkeeper Aaron Ramsdale. Looks like they're not expecting to have Henderson next season. Well, Bournemouth have gone down, so it could be the case that they're just picking off the players that have gone down and preparing for Dean Henderson leaving. I don't think it means Dean Henderson's definitely returning, although I suppose it could be a little bit of a sign. But I still think there's a possibility he stays there. I saw this news as well, but I didn't, because it could bring him in. Who's the number 2 there at the moment? Is he that good? Do you know what I mean? They might be thinking, let's get in a number 2 that can sit here with Dean Henderson, and then when he goes back, and we can move forward with a goalkeeper that we've already got in place and has already got used to our system and the way we play and all that kind of thing. Plamen with the super chat says, suppose we sign Sancho and a decent centre back, how do you think we should approach big games next season? Should we be cautious or go toe to toe versus City? I think it's in the midfield or in the defence. I still think you play your regular, like we've seen Rashford become more creative. You've seen, Martial become more all round. So I think you maybe go with a 3-5-2 or a 3-4-1-2 in some games. You maybe drop one of the front three, or you go when you've got stronger players. You can go with a 4-2-1-3, a 4-3-3. I think he'll just be tinkering with the midfield and making sure we're strong in front of that defence so that our attacking players can have that freedom. But it's also like it's not always about selection. Sometimes it's just about the way you set up mentally. Sometimes you can soak up the pressure with the same 4-2-3-1 that you play expansive with. Soak it up, sit with a deep block, and then hit them on the counter attack. You could do it with either formation, but I hear what you're saying as well, because it's a lot of sauce going into some of them big games to have Bruno, Sancho, Rashford, Martial, Pogba. Is Matic and the back four enough to deal with those kind of teams? But then it's how do you play as a team? We know Rashford works hard for the team. We know Sancho will work hard for the team. Bruno will. So it's again, does Bruno sit a little bit deeper alongside Matic? Does Pogba sit in a little bit deeper? Alexander also gets a super chat in as well, but he didn't write anything in it. But thank you very much anyway for that. Who is better, Lingard, Pereira, Mata in their respective positions? I think Mata is quite clearly the superior player out of all three of them. But I think in terms of if you're going to keep one of those players at Man United, I think you keep Jesse Lingard because he offers you more. The way United play, I think Mata's probably too slow. And that's a sad thing to say because I love Juan Mata, but Jesse Lingard's got the speed, he's got the press, he's got the energy, got the movement. And when he plays well, he fits in with the players around him. We've seen how he can link up with Rashford and Martial before. But Mata is a quality player. I just think whenever Mata plays, I feel sorry for him because he plays with the B team. You very rarely get to see Mata playing with Rashford, Martial, Bruno and Greenwood. Do you know what I mean? I think Ollie's going to sell Fred by 2021, says Rishi. I mean, Scott McTominay could be in that bracket as well. I don't think either of them have been great since the break. Obviously, Scott's got the benefit of Dalot being an academy player. You probably keep him over Fred, but I think in terms of performance, they both clearly need to perform. Their form of the first half of the season has definitely gone. Now, that could be down to not playing week in, week out as regularly, but there's no excuses at the end of the day. We're talking about Lingard not potentially leaving United after having some very good years under Mourinho and Van Gaal, winning trophies, playing a big part in winning those trophies. He's had a bad 12 months, 18 months, you're out of here, do you know what I mean, potentially. So they have to step up. How you doing, Bud the Red? Thank you for getting in. Rayon Williams is in the house. If we don't get Grealish, what you think of going for Neves, says Reza. I'd love Ruben Neves at Man United. I just don't think it's a realistic prospect. I don't think Wolves would sell him, and I don't think he's going to end up coming to the club. Today, as well, the Premier League confirmed we will be returning to 3 substitutions next season in the Premier League, so it won't be 5 substitutions as we've seen since the pandemic break. So it's going back to 3 subs. The clubs all voted on it. They couldn't get a vote through for it to remain, so we'll be back to 3 subs, and I think that's better. It's fairer for the rest of the Premier League. Clubs like United and City and Liverpool and Chelsea will have stronger benches, and when they can make 4 or 5 subs, it's going to be a lot more difficult for those teams near the bottom. So I think it's fairer in that aspect, but I think it's just better. There was nothing wrong with 3 subs before. I like that how they've added in some competitions that in extra time you get an extra sub. I like that. I think that's sensible. I don't think there's common sense in making 5 subs in the game of football. In competitive games, I just don't think it is. Todd Cantwell instead of Grealish. Todd Cantwell's a good player, but not instead of Grealish for me. I want Grealish. Sean says, thank God for 3 subs. How you doing, Glenn? Hope you're doing well. Woo fam's in the house. If we are getting rid of Dalot because he is injury prone, how long have we kept Jones, says Rebecca. Yeah, Jones somehow still at Manchester United. Probably be gone soon. Hasn't been seen for a while, has he? I don't think we're getting rid of Dalot because he's injury prone. Maybe because he's a valuable player and he's not first team at United. And I think someone of Dalot's quality and potential and age needs to be playing week in, week out. And he currently isn't. So, we don't have 5 players we can bring on, says the comments. Let's keep Jesse. Top Red and could still prove to be a good squad player. Says Andrew, Mata should play in the first team on the right when play small teams like Copenhagen. The Europa League next round's been all confirmed today, and that is, while I find out, 3 players you want to see at United, says Alexander with the super chat. 3 players: Sancho, Grealish, Party. So the last 8 confirmed in the Europa League. In our side of the draw, Wolves against Sevilla. Sevilla beat Roma quite comfortably in the end. Roma should have paid for Chris Smalling. Man United and Copenhagen. So if United beat Copenhagen, we'll get Wolves or Sevilla in the semi-finals. The other side of the draw, Inter against Bayer Leverkusen. That's a tricky game. It's as tricky as Wolves Sevilla, isn't it, really? It's a difficult one to call those two. Obviously, Inter will be the favourites, but I think Leverkusen could shock some people. And Inter didn't look great in their last outing. And Shakhtar and Basel are the other one. Those kind of featuring the dark horses in the competition, aren't they? Shakhtar and Basel. Basel went through comfortably. Shakhtar as well, I believe, made it quite comfortable for themselves with a 5-1 win. So those guys going through. One of Shakhtar Basel will be in the semi-finals. One of Wolves or Sevilla. One of Inter or Leverkusen, and one of United Copenhagen. So it could be Wolves United, Inter, Shakhtar, which is a strong 4, isn't it? I think it's going to be Shakhtar against Leverkusen, United against Sevilla in the last 4. That's what I'm going for in the semi-finals. Let's know what you guys are thinking. Please God, I don't want to see Wolves again, says Ryan. What's else going on? Let us know what your predictions are for the last 4 in the Europa League. Make sure you're liking the video, commenting, sharing, subscribing. Can we hit 500 likes? Come on, I'm sure we can do that. We've got 180 at the moment. We've got over 1,300 watching. Get hitting that like button. The next game against, I know we're not talking about it, but as we're on the Europa League against Copenhagen, I still don't think we should go with that strongest 11. I'd go with Maguire, Bailly again. Romero in goal again. Give De Gea the night off. I'd go with Wan-Bissaka and Fosu Mensah, or Wan-Bissaka and Williams. In the midfield, I'd go with McTominay and Fred again. With maybe Bruno, Lingard, Mata, and Igalo. I genuinely go with that team against Copenhagen. I know they're going to be confident, but we should be beating them with that team. Bring a few more first teamers in if you want to, but don't go all out. I don't think we need to. We've got Champions League already, do you know what I mean? So why do we need to go all out? We've been discussing the reports that Jesse Lingard is surplus to requirements at Man United, and United will listen to offers for him. Although I asked him myself if it was his last game at Old Trafford against Lask, and he said no chance. So it looks like Jesse Lingard wants to stay, but Ole Gunnar Solskjaer may have other ideas, according to The Guardian today. Everton have been linked with Diogo Dalot. Carlo Ancelotti has been, and a potential £10 million move. I think they'd have to cough up a lot more than that to get Diogo Dalot away from Man United. Tahith Chong is available on loan as well. Will anyone come in for him? Werder Bremen have been linked with a move for him. Could a Premier League club come in for him? Let's see on that one. Dalot's absence has been explained by injury, the reason why he didn't play against Lask Lynch, not because of a transfer. And 3 subs have been confirmed as returning to the Premier League for the start of next campaign. Thank God. Anyway, guys, this has been United Daily Live. Remember, we are back tomorrow at 10:30 p.m. Make sure you're joining us then. We might have more news on Jadon Sancho. Today, we've tried to steer clear of that because there's not much news on that one right now. It's still the same. United have apparently agreed terms with the player and are still locked in negotiations with Borussia Dortmund over how much we're going to be paying them and how that fee is going to be structured. So this one could drag on for a little bit longer. But keep it locked to AdamMcKola TV by hitting that subscribe button. Like, comment, share. And for now, I've been AdamMcKola. I'm out of here.